Dum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. Hello, everybody. I'm just getting set up here. Awesome. Let's see if my phone is going to stay. There we go. Awesome. Yay. Welcome. Welcome. I am Patrick Corrigan of Perching Wolf Studios, and it's time for our Monday mini medicine card reading. So let me get my candle lit up here. So I like to do this as ceremony. Light the candle, light some sage, some Palo Santo. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. So welcome. I'm just lighting my candle, lighting up some Palo Santo and sage so that I can smudge my cards. Let's get a little bit more smoky going, shall we? So I hope you guys are doing good. I had a very weird and I don't know what to call it. I had a very weird week. A lot of challenges, a lot of things that really threw me for a loop, like rug pulled out from under me kind of things. So I hope you are faring better than I have been. Although now I'm feeling much better, getting my perspective and my bearings back, and things are turning out better than at first my ego mind thought they would. So it's hard being a reader sometimes, being a teacher, being all of those things, because I need to go through everything that everyone else is going through so I know what the heck I'm talking about. So knowing that I have been going through the same thing that you guys have gone through, I hope that helps to know that, number one, you're not alone. Number two, I am not any better than anybody else. And number three, there is hope, because there is always hope. Because if you haven't found a happy ending, it just means you ended the story too soon. Right? Alright, my hair's a little, I guess I could have. Anyway, so thank you for joining me. I'm kind of just babbling a little bit, let people get caught up to know that we are on live. And so, if you haven't joined us before, my phone keeps slipping. If you haven't joined us before, these are the cards I use. They're called the medicine cards. And each card has a different animal totem on it. So it's a little more shamanic than, say, like a tarot reading. Funny thing, I just happen to be a shaman, huh? So, and so because of that, I've always felt more connected to the animal kingdom than like the tarot, like the archetypes and the arcana. That stuff all fascinates me, and I love symbolism, I love mythologies and all of that stuff. But when I'm doing the readings with these cards, it's like, it's not just a reciting the meanings. It's like I connect with the spirit of the animals, and the cards. God, my phone keeps slipping. Stay. The cards are just a launch pad, to get me started, and then kind of helps to get my ego mind out of the way so that I can connect straight to the animal spirit. So it's a little bit more vibrant, immediate, more like a live stream than just a recitation of things or whatever. So anyway, so what we do, if you're here for the first time, I am going to pull 6 cards. So your job is to choose a number between 1 and 6. And I will pull the 6 cards, I'll lay them in front of me on the table here, and then, excuse me, I will go through them one at a time. So whichever card or cards, feel free to choose more than one number, because it is an abundant universe. You can choose as many as you want. So whichever card or cards correspond to the number or numbers that you chose, that is your message for the week. That is the animal guide who has volunteered to walk with you through this week, to guide you and to give you strength and courage and whatever else. They tell me to still keep shuffling. Was my alarm. I set to remind myself. I accidentally just made it snooze rather than turned it off, so that's my alarm in the morning too, the Indiana Jones theme. It always makes me feel like I wake up to an adventure every morning. All right, so choose a number 1 through 6. And I'm going to adjust my phone here one more time. There we go. All right, so let's see who shows up tonight. Ooh, all right, lots of good medicine tonight. All right, so, all right. So I hope you will enjoy this. If you do, be sure to like this, like my Facebook page, share it, whatever. Tell your friends. But so I'm just stalling, giving you a chance to choose. Let other people get in if they're not on already. So, all right, number 1. If 1 is the card you picked, we got the friendly little porcupine. I have to show you something. I'll be right back. I'm just really excited. I just got this yesterday. It's an African porcupine quill. Me and my fiance went to Cougar Mountain Zoo in Issaquah, and no one really knows it yet, or it's not real public knowledge, but they have an African porcupine. They just don't have an exhibit for it yet, but they're already selling the quills, so I bought myself an African porcupine quill from a living porcupine that I know it shed, it wasn't killed or anything. So anyway, I shout out to Cougar Mountain Zoo, where I used to volunteer among the animals there. Anyway, okay, distraction. Wow. Squirrel! No, porcupine. Okay, getting back to porcupine. Porcupine is basically the inner child. Porcupine medicine is about innocence. It's about dismantling all of the armor and all of the walls that we have put up since childhood, you know, that helped us at the time, It seems to be a running theme lately. They helped us at the time, protect us, but now that we have become adults, that same armor and the walls that we had set up for protection now hinder us. It boxes in and dims our light rather than letting it shine. So Porcupine is really about surrendering back into your innocence. Because you are already whole. You are already perfect. You are already healed. There is nothing wrong with you. You are already high vibration. It's a matter of surrendering into that true nature rather than trying to strive to overcome what we're taught such backwards things from childhood, and we think that our true selves are, number one, sinful to start with. Like we're born and we're born with original sin, so that it's like we've got this notch against us when we haven't even done anything yet. So we have that as our basis, like our base mythology is that we come into this world tainted and sinful. And it's so funny because this was just coming up in my mind today. When you look at a newborn child, how can you look at that and say, oh my God, that is so sinful, it's horrendous? That baby is innocent and pure. And that is who you are in your essence. You are pure light and love and divinity. You are part of source energy. That is the default setting. That is the baseline. Everything else is just been piled on top of that. So it's a matter, rather than piling more knowledge, more things, achieving things on top of who you are, it's a matter of shedding all those layers, all those onion skins, to get back to that innocence and purity that exists at your center. Because once you reach that, innocence becomes its own protection. Porcupine doesn't have to armor up. Porcupine doesn't have to protect herself because she's got the quills on her back. The part of who she is, by being her true nature, she has these quills that protect her. And I always get this picture. I drew this picture for a friend one time who was in the hospital. I was talking about porcupine medicine and how when you surrender into that pure, innocent essence of who you truly are, then you radiate light. Like, think of yourself as a star, this ball of light that's radiating out all this light and this love. And so that is that higher frequency I was talking about. When you take the armor off, that frequency is able to shoot out. And as I'm talking about porcupine medicine, all of a sudden I saw this little porcupine and all his quills just went like all around, and they started shooting out these beams of light. So like it was this little porcupine star. And so by that purity and by radiating that light from our essence of who we truly, truly are, that's how you raise your vibration. And then you don't have to worry about what's coming at you, because nothing of a lower frequency can get through that energy field. It's kind of like, it's like on Star Trek, the Enterprise, they have the energy shields, and they keep out anything of a lower frequency or certain frequencies. That's the way love and light works around you. When you are your true innocent self, then nothing can come in and hurt you. And if you want to go even a little bit further, the universe is one system. The universe is one source energy. Everything is part of the same energy. It's all part of the same organism, if you will, the entire universe. And the universe works for you. It works on your behalf to bring you to the right path, to the right explorations, the right achievements, whatever. The universe always has your best at heart. And so that everything that happens to us, even the most horrendous things, are there to help us realize our true selves, our true essence of who we truly, truly are. And so ultimately, there's nothing to protect yourself from, because if you believe the universe is a friendly universe, like Einstein says, then there's nothing to protect yourself from. So it's a matter of, rather than always being on guard, watching for what could be coming at you, and just, kind of sneaking forward with, while you're looking around, that's not going to get you. There's nothing wrong with that, but it slows you down, because you don't need to keep watching for what's coming at you when you're focused on your purpose, that whatever it is that brings joy to you, when you follow your bliss, and that is your destination. That is when you set the cosmic GPS system by setting an intention, and then the universe takes you there. Everything that happens between setting that intention and reaching that intention is on the right road. You can't step off of your spiritual path. And so when we focus on what we want, when we focus on our intentions, it's like bringing in the sci-fi stuff. It's like hitting warp speed on Star Trek, or hyperspeed in Star Wars, where all of a sudden you're kind of between the worlds. There's nothing that can really touch you. I hope that makes sense. A lot of times I talk and I just tell what's coming to me through me, and when I start to think about it, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if that really makes sense. I don't know if that really holds up, but I am just a hollow bone speaking what my guides are telling me. So anyway, basically, let down the armor. I've said, I think I said it last week about, and I don't think it was with Porcupine, but at some point in your spiritual path, you can only, if you continue the fears, if you continue trying to defend yourself from others, from other things or other energies, that is separation. You're creating a rift in this wholeness that is the universe. And so there's a certain point where you can no longer maintain that separation, if that makes sense. At some point, you have to open your arms and surrender to the universe, to embrace who you truly, truly are. You can't, I'm trying to remember, there was a quote, I think from Abraham Hicks, or one of those, talking about you can't be in fear and love at the same time. Like, you can't continue to defend yourself. You can't keep in mind the things you're defending yourself from, the things that you don't want, and focus, and at the same time focus on what you do want. They kind of cancel each other out, and because of the emotional charge, you'll probably draw more to you those things that you're afraid of, which in the long run isn't necessarily a bad thing, because, like I said, everything that manifests in our lives comes into our lives to teach us, basically, and the lesson is always that you are greater than anything that happens to you. that you are greater than any obstacles, any situation, any circumstances. There is nothing that is greater than who you are, because you are a living divine being. You are divine light. You came here into a body, but you are not your body. And the universe is going to give you what you need and take you where you need to go in every moment. Now, that is much easier said than done. Believe me, this past week, you can ask my fiance, was a really touch and go for a while. Like I said, I had kind of a feeling of the rug being pulled out from under me, like everything was fine, and all of a sudden, boom, nothing was fine. So, but everything's fine now. But anyway, so trust your heart over all things. Trust your innocence. There is nothing, we're always in such a hurry to protect the pure, to protect the innocence. But true innocence, true purity doesn't need our protection. Wow, this is going to be a long-winded one, so I hope you guys are all strapped in because we're still on the first card. So bringing in unicorn into this, you know, unicorns are the purest, most innocent beings in existence. That is how they heal. They heal through their presence. They, just because they are so pure, they are of the highest vibration, the highest frequency. So just like according to legends, all they need to do is dip their horn into a lake or a body of water, and it detoxifies and purifies any body of water. The medieval kings used to drink goblets, from goblets that were lined with powdered unicorn horn, because it would nullify any poisons that were put into them. This is the power that I'm talking about. This is the power that we all have when we be our own true selves. Nothing, it's like nothing. And it gets kind of funky sometimes because, you know, we're talking on the spiritual plane, and the physical is a result of what happens on the spiritual, in the unseen realms, right? So it's like thoughts and emotions, all the unseen things are what creates the physical. The physical world is a reflection of what's happening in the unseen world. And so we can get caught into expectations of thinking, oh, okay, this is true in the unseen realm, so this is the way it's going to happen in the physical. But it doesn't always happen the way we expect it to. So I think I need to leave it there. Just remember that your innocence, your purity, who you are, there is no better protection than being that pure light that you are, that light that you were when you first came to this world, that pure angelic light of divinity. And when you shine that light, it's like things just happen. You start to encounter synchronicities. I mean, I don't even think about it anymore. I'll be like, okay, I need this answer for this, and all of a sudden, boom, someone I never even knew pops up with this answer from nowhere, and it's like, oh, okay, and it's just like taking it in stride now because it's just a part of my life. Other people, like, they freak out because they think of their mom, and then all of a sudden their mom calls them on the phone, and they're like, oh my God, that's so freaky. I'm like, why? That's normal. That's supposed to be normal. That is normal. We are all connected. So trust your true nature. Trust your innocence and your purity. Practice becoming the person you wanted to be when you were a child. Like, what was that thing you wanted to do? Do you want to be a dancer, an astronaut, a cartoonist, Whatever it is that you wanted to do when you were a kid, do that. Whatever way you can kind of just ease into that, you know, you don't have to go quit your job to become something else. You know, you don't need to make those kind of drastic changes usually. Just start introducing those things that you love. Those things that make you feel like a child. Those things that, how do they say that? That you find yourself by losing yourself in that activity. Because when you're doing that, then like nothing else exists. That is touching your divinity. That is touching your innocence and your purity. And those are the things that you came here to do. Those are your gifts, your talents that you brought with you to help heal the planet, right? So be yourself. Trust the universe loves you. Trust in your own ability to protect yourself. Trust in your own strength to overcome anything that appears in your life, any obstacles or challenges, and know that you are greater than anything that you can fear. Okay? So that is Porcupine, and I'm going to need to step it up a bit because we'll be here for a few hours if I spend a half hour on every card. All right. Oops, sorry. My phone is a little sensitive tonight. I've got my phone plugged in, so I've got it resting on the charging cord, so that's why it keeps kind of shifting. So I need to not drum on the table anymore. So, all right, number 2. If 2 is the card you chose, we got Blue Heron. Heron is about self-reflection. Heron is about stillness. And just moving through life with this grace, this regalness. They are the most, I love watching herons. They are so graceful when they fly, when they walk. It's like slow motion, and they're like it's like watching someone do Tai Chi. It's just like every move is fluid and mindful. But they can stand in the water for hours being perfectly still. And what happens is they stand in the water with those long legs, long skinny legs, so that they have like they create minimum ripples in the water, right? It's like the water is so, what do I want to say? I mean, just the slightest thing can ripple the water. And so the heron stands in the water with as little interference as possible, standing up above the water, casting its shadow on the water. And it's that shadow that attracts the fish, because the fish are attracted to the coolness of heron's shadow. And so he doesn't have to go hunting for things. What he needs comes to him. And it's through looking at his reflection. That's why it's self-reflection. It's like looking at yourself, looking into your shadow, which there has been a lot of that lately. But like I said, you are a being of pure divine light and love. So what could you possibly find in your shadow that would contradict that? Looking in your shadow, if you dig and dig and dig, looking into your shadow, eventually you come to that purity and that innocence. There might be like personal fears or doubts or demons that have, not real demons, I'm talking like personal fears, that have been created by us, like I said, early in life to protect ourselves, or that that have been foisted upon us by the expectations of society. But those are that any darkness that you encounter in your shadow is just, if you're encountering it, if there are, like right now, I've had so many emotions coming up this past week. And if those emotions are coming up, the old fears, our first thought, our mind wants to control it. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? How do I heal this? What am I supposed to do? The answer is nothing. Stillness. When those feelings come up, it's the way, so the self-reflection part of Heron is stillness, sitting with that emotion, whatever it is, realizing that you are pure of heart and that the universe is carrying you, protecting you, nurturing you. So anything that is fearful or depressing is intrinsically false. So when those feelings come up that tell you you're small, you're worthless, whatever, it's sitting with those feelings, looking them in the eye, looking at, feeling them, identifying them, and then letting them go. Because, like I said, with Porcupine, there is nothing you fear that is greater than you. You are divine. You have been here since before time began, and you will be here long after time is done. You are energy, you are divine energy, and energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So you are here, you have been here, you will be here. No matter what happens to the body, no matter what happens in this world. So these things, when those fears come up, breathe and sit with them. And you can even ask them, what is your message for me? And then release them, because I keep pulling in other animal medicine to back me up, but there isn't a tiger in these cards, but this brings in tiger medicine, where tigers naturally stalk their prey and attack from behind. They have to be stealthy, and so the people in like India and places such as that, they will wear a face mask on the back of their head, because a tiger will not attack you face on if it can help it. And so by wearing a face mask in the back of their head, they keep tigers from prowling and sneaking up on them. And so tiger is like those personal demons, those little fears we have. And if you're running away from them, guess what? You're drawing them to you. It's like, oh, good, dinner, right? And so by running away from your fears, you're actually empowering them. Because the energy, how do I say this? When you align with your energy, when you align with your spirit, and that energy that, like I said, like there is nothing that can destroy you. When you stand in that knowingness, then that fear in front of you has no power. You're seeing it for what it is, and it will evaporate, because you are no longer giving it power. If you're running away, you're basically telling that fear that it is more powerful than you. And so our thoughts become things. We create what we encounter. And so those fears can overcome us because we run away from them. And that's giving them power. But when you face them, it's that acknowledgement that, and there might still, like when you're facing those fears, it is, please understand that I am not trying to belittle these experiences. I'm not trying to belittle what it takes to do these things, because it takes great courage and strength to be able to sit in the presence of your fears. Or like I talk about inviting my demons in for tea, because when you make friends with them and you realize that the universe is a friendly place, that everything is there to help us and to move us forward, then whatever fears and demons you encounter have a purpose. At one point, they were there as guardians to keep you safe within a certain boundary, right? Like when you're a kid, don't cross the street by yourself. That's kind of a fear. That's like one of those personal demons. But at that point, it's a guardian. It's keeping you safe. So it's serving a purpose. Now, if you come to adulthood and you're still thinking, oh, I can't cross the street by myself, then that fear has grown into a full-fledged, demon, personal demon or fear that is holding you back. And so at that point, those fears become the gatekeepers to the next level, and you have to face that fear and to move through. And if you can face that fear, then that is that fear's job to make. It's like making sure you're ready to pass into the next level. If you can step through this fear, face it and step through it, then you're ready to level up. I hope that makes sense. But anyway, so Blue Heron, getting back to the actual card, is about that self-reflection, looking into your shadow and gaining from that shadow that which nurtures you. It's the fish coming to Heron's shadow that feed it, that nourish it. And so it's by looking into our shadow that we find, because in the shadow, the darkness, the unknown, the uncertainty, that is the womb where all things are created. There is such a great creative energy there. And that's what allows us to evolve and grow and learn new things. It's going into the unknown. So when things are being chaotic, be the eye of the storm. Come into stillness. Let the world rage around you, but as best you can, find that stillness. Do meditation, Tai Chi, yoga, whatever it is that centers you, that stills you. And allow the world to rage, and what you need will come to you. Okay? All right, number 3. 3, we have buffalo. Buffalo is abundance. Buffalo is, the way the native peoples saw buffalo was an incarnation of Mother Earth. Buffalo provided everything they needed: food, clothing, tools, housing. Everything they needed came from buffalo. And so they had this symbiotic relationship with buffalo. And buffalo is basically the goddess incarnate. So buffalo coming up now, if that is your card, it's to remind you that you are abundant, that everything you need is being given to you, that your true abundance doesn't come from other people, it doesn't come from a job, it doesn't come from wherever. Other people, other things, other situations are not the source of your abundance. That is the way they may funnel into your life. But your true source of abundance is that connection to source energy. Like I was just saying with Heron, that darkness, the shadow, the womb of the cosmic mother is the creative vortex where all things come into being. And in a quantum universe where everything is energy, you know, everything, and I'm not going to drum on the table again, but everything solid is only solid because it's vibrating at a certain frequency. And so in the quantum universe, where everything is mind, where everything is, there is no lack of anything. You can have anything and everything you desire. And if you desire something, like really desire, like a passion for something, and not necessarily for the thing, it's the passion for the feeling, that feeling of wholeness, that feeling of confidence, of completeness, of love, of whatever it is. It's that feeling that we are actually, where the passion and the desire actually exist. It's not about that thing. Again, your abundance doesn't come from other people. It comes from source. It funnels through other people. So like love and wholeness and all that, you may get that reflection in the outside world from other people. You might get love from other people, but that place that feeling actually exists is inside of yourself, in that connection to source energy. So, and it's interesting because for me, that was a big part of what was happening for me this past week. I won't go into details, but I had a certain I had a certain income of money, financially, different things coming in, and that was part of the rug that got pulled out from under me. All of a sudden, I was like, boom! It was like I had nothing. I mean, I still had some, but it was different. Like the flow had stopped, the current had stopped, and so I had to stop and do exactly this. It's like, no matter what it looks like in the outer world, I am abundant. And my guides have told me over and over, especially since I got laid off from my job back in March, my day job, started doing this full time. My guides keep reminding me that they will not let me fall. And so I'm holding them to that. And so like on days like the other day when I found out I didn't have what I thought I had, that things weren't flowing the way I thought they were, I had my freak out, had a hard time sleeping that night, whatever, went through my own anxiety and all that, but then had to come back to that my guide said they would not let me fall. And I have to trust that and remember that I am the source of my abundance. It's my connection to source energy that is where my abundance truly comes from. No matter what avenue in the outside world it comes from, it starts here. And so I had to, after going and running and freaking out and trying to grab straws in the outside world and figure out and secure myself, the only security is in here and knowing my place, knowing that I am connected to source energy, that I am source energy, so that abundance can be fleeting, but it always comes back, that there's always more than enough. You know, it's not pie. There is enough for everybody. So trust in your abundance. This card, if this one you chose, is the universe reminding you to not get caught in scarcity mindedness, to know that there is plenty, that just because someone has something doesn't mean that you don't get something. You deserve all your desires to be fulfilled. You deserve to be abundant and joyful. That's what we came here to do. We didn't come here to scrimp and save and barely scrape by. We came here to thrive and to realize our true identities and to realize our abundance. So know that you are abundant and that everything you desire is on its way to get to you. It's just a matter of us getting out of our own way with those doubts and fears that I was talking about earlier, those are the only things that keep that abundance from reaching us. So, all right, number 4. If 4 is your card, we got the hawk. Hawk is the messenger of the gods. Hawk, I always bring in eagle, because eagle is kind of great spirit incarnate, right? Because eagle soars above everyone and everything. Eagle is like untouchable. Eagle is what everyone aspires to, because he's always up in the air. You mostly see them soaring. But on the other hand, with hawk, I've got a weird, sorry, got a hair floating in front of my face. Hawk, on the other hand, is constantly up, flying, soaring, diving down for a rabbit, flying back up, flying back down. So they are, it's kind of like Hermes, the Greek god of communication, because he was the only god that could go into the underworld and into Olympus. Like, he was the only one who could connect those realms. And that's what Hawk does. Hawk connects. Hawk is the bridge between the sky, heaven, and earth. So when Hawk pops up, most of the time it means there is a message for you. To pay attention to your heart, to pay attention to what you're being guided to. And part of me is like, I know you're here for guidance. So here's Hawk. Hawk is telling you to listen to your guidance. Well, what is that guidance? Your guidance is your heart. Your heart is your authority. Your heart knows more than anyone else what you need in this moment, what you need to do, how to take care of yourself. That is where divinity speaks to us, is through our heart. And so rather than it being, like, there's a passage in the Bible that I remember from my Catholic days, and I don't remember who it was. Someone was searching for the voice of God, and they looked in the storm, they looked in all these different, like, loud, thunderous, looked in the thunder, looked in the storm, looked in the raging river, whatever it was, and the only place that they found the voice of God was in the silence. And so it's about quieting your mind. Set yourself in sacred space. You can do that with drumming or rattling. I got my rattle here. Sorry. Face plant. Yeah. My phone is... There we go. You know what? I think I got enough of a charge. We are going to set it up so that it is stable. So, set yourself in sacred space, and you can use a rattle or a drum to call in, the 4 elements, or, just to set yourself in a circle of light. You can call in earth, air, fire, water, or you could call in your guardian angels or your guides, like to hold space around you, to surround you in a ring of light. And rattles and drums have been used for over 100,000 years in shamanism. So when the spirits hear a drum or a rattle, they're like, oh, party time! They like hear it and they know exactly what it means, because it's been kind of basically this language between us and the spirits, that when they hear a rattle, they know someone's summoning them. So call in your guiding spirits, call in your guardian angels, call in the beings of light, call in earth, air, fire, water, whoever your guardians are, and you don't even need to know who they are. Just call in those guardians that are of the highest light and love. And to hold space. And so by their holding space, that allows you to let your guard down so that you can focus on your heart in the quiet. So they're taking care of being vigilant. They're taking care of watching around you, making sure you're safe, so you can let down your guard, stand down, and listen to your heart. And then just accept whatever comes to you, no matter what it sounds like. Your heart will never mislead you. Even write it down. So that you're not like trying to remember later, or if we don't write it down, it's easier to just kind of to write it off as, oh, that was just a weird thought. I don't know where that came from, But once you write it down, it starts to make more sense. And then if you continue to do that, like listen to your heart, write down the message from your heart, then you will notice a pattern and it becomes stronger and you start to trust it more. What was I going to say? I don't remember. I was going to say something else, but I guess I didn't need to say it. So anyway, listen to your heart. Trust what your heart tells you. If you have a choice to make, I did this with a client just the other day. She was in a job she hated, and she had the opportunity to apply to another job that felt better to her. And so I'm like, okay, hold your hands out. Now, in one hand, hold on to the job that you have. And I watched her hand drop. And then I said, okay, in your other hand, put in your other hand this job opportunity. And I actually watched that hand rise. So if you have to even do that to see which is the lighter, which one lifts rather than takes you down, trust those things. Whatever, one of my favorite authors is Martha Beck, who wrote a book called Finding Your Own North Star. And that book was a real turning point for me personally. And she talks about the shackles on and the shackles off feeling. That if you're thinking of something and it makes you feel like you're caving in, like shackles are going on, like you can't breathe, like you're heavy, like you're smaller, then the answer is no. Then whatever that thinking is false. But if it feels like you can breathe again, like you're standing up straighter, like the shackles are coming off, then that is a yes. That is a truth, And coming back to Porcupine, the only truth is that you are divine light and love. There is nothing else. So that's how that works, because something that is lighter is going to take you toward that path of realizing your lightness and innocence and purity. So trust your heart. And in a lot of cases too, if Hawk pops up, if that was your card, number 4, chances are that the messages that you're getting are not just for yourself, that you yourself are a messenger of the gods, and that everything that you're going through, the messages that you're receiving to guide you in your life, will at some point help others find their own guidance. So you're not just doing this for yourself. Like, I was just watching a friend of mine that does psychic readings and does a regular video, and she was talking about oh my god, it just flew out of my head. There was a point to that. La 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 la. Okay, I lost that one too. Sorry about that. What was that point? Anyway, okay. So trust the... Oh, okay, I got it. To hold yourself in, to play small, is actually the selfish thing to do. You know, we think about, well, I don't deserve to be that, and oh, it was so selfish to ask for what I want, to follow my desires, because that's selfish, because it's pie and we only get so much, right? That is so false. The selfish thing is holding yourself in and not realizing your greatness, not realizing the truth of your being, because we are all connected, and the more healed you get, the more whole you get, the more whole the collective gets. And so the selfish thing is to pull back from life and to think that you're helping others out by playing small so that they get a larger slice of the pie. That's not how it works. The selfish thing is keeping yourself disconnected, because as we grow, as we learn, as we get messages, those messages spill over into those around us, and we become a light, a beacon to others, either telling them like this, like, you know, I'm kind of channeling energy, channeling information to you, messages coming to you, and they are meaningful to me. Like everything I'm saying, like, okay, dude, better remember this yourself. But we are here for each other, and we're here to experience the fullness and wholeness of ourselves. And it's experience that wholeness and fullness of ourselves that helps everyone else experience that wholeness and fullness of themselves. You know, like Abraham Hicks said something about you can never get sick enough to help somebody who is ill. You can never get poor enough to help someone who is scrimping and saving. You know, help and healing only comes from power. And so you owe it to everyone else to be the strongest that you can be, to explore your passions and your desires, to be the best expression of yourself that you can be on this planet, the most authentic, pure, and innocent one that you can be, because that just uplifts everybody. And then if someone does need your help, if someone does need your guidance, you're in the perfect place. From your experience, you have stories, you have experience, you have intuition to actually help that person from a place of power. You're not coming from like, oh God, I hope that this is the way things work, and I hope the best for you, and I think the universe is good, but you know, that's not helpful. Helpful is just like in the airplane, securing your own oxygen before helping someone else. So, trust your heart. It knows what it's talking about. And that is your connection to Creator, to Source Energy. So, number 5, if 5 is your card, we have Otter. And you ought to know that. Otter is all about the flow. Otter is the divine feminine. She is total flow, total surrender. She is like part of the river herself. Is it like if the river decided to become an animal, it would be Otter. Because otter, if you've ever watched them twist and turn and curve, they're like a section of the river itself. And so she's coming in to help you to surrender to what's going on and to see things, to see things as, like I've said, this world is an illusion. It's a dream on some level. It's play. It's a game. We came here like this was like Disneyland, and we were spirits hanging out up here somewhere. We're like, oh, what if I were like, say, a pirate in the 600s or something? Oh, that would be cool. And so we enter Disneyland and we drink the forgetfulness so we don't remember this, because otherwise this down here wouldn't be that much fun. And so we come into this life now here being who you are. You came into here, and on some level it is a game. It is play. The universe is friendly. The universe wants you to succeed. And so when we can see that, then we can play with things. Or at least like when we hit those darker waters, or we feel kind of submerged and drowning, we have more resilience when we have that playful mindset, when we have that optimism. Then it's like we still can go to those depths, but we don't stay there, and we can pop back up. And usually in hindsight, it's like, holy crap, that was wild. I'm so glad that I believe what I believe that got me back to here, right? So flow, surrender. See the world, like, Otter has no natural enemies, or they don't recognize natural enemies. Otter only behaves with any other animals it sees as a friend until proven otherwise. So this goes back to what I was talking about. Every situation, every occurrence in our life is an opportunity from the friendly universe. We might not take it at first as friendly. It might not seem very nice. In fact, there are some pretty horrendous things that can happen that you're not going to be, oh boy, but in the end, it is a joyful, friendly universe. And so when we can look at even the obstacles as a boost, it's to get us. It's supposed to be like a springboard to move us to a higher level. So again, like I keep doing that throughout this reading, is like, breathe, surrender, know that you don't have to get there yourself, that it is riding the currents of the river, riding the currents of spirit, of the universe, that will get you where you're going. So stand down, make friends with the universe, make friends with your life, and have fun, okay? Okay. Number 6. 6 is snake. Snake is so many things. Snake is a very strong shamanic medicine, because snake brings the energy of alchemy, of transmutation, like changing lead into gold, basically, because snake venom is one of the deadliest things, but it's it's like the base of the medicine for that venom is a drop of that venom, or whatever, the venom is at the heart of the medication. And so it's taking those things in our lives, and this goes back to all these other things I was saying. If you can, like, picture yourself on a hill where you can see back behind you your entire life out behind you, and if you can I'm remembering an exercise we did in a class I took, a shamanic class, but send from your heart and from your hands, send out bubbles of love across the entire expanse of your past. And these bubbles, in whatever color is your favorite color, whatever color lights you up, feels healing and vibrant. These bubbles, send them out across the whole length of your past, and watch these bubbles absorbing anything that was any experiences that you regret, or that you think you could have done better, or you feel you were victimized, or whatever the situation is. Let those bubbles sop up any of that discordant energy and just take it to the sky, take it to the winds, to clear it, to transmute it back into light. And then look at your life as if everything had happened on purpose to get you where you are. Forgive yourself. Those bubbles are bubbles of forgiveness, because you have never done anything wrong. Everything that has happened has been for your learning of that situation. And I say that cautiously because I know there are situations with like PTSD and different things like that where I don't want to, it's your fault. That is not what I'm saying. But in every situation, there is a gift of remembering our holiness, remembering our wholeness. And so when you can look back on your life and see those places where you feel stung, where you feel poisoned, where you feel the venom coming in and it's still affecting you to this day, it's time to look at those situations and forgive yourself, and forgive others that you feel victimized by. And I'm not saying, see, this is where it gets tricky, because I am not a mental health specialist in any fashion. I am just speaking what the spirits tell me, and I know there are other intricacies to like PTSD, to narcissism, and to these other things. So I'm not saying, when I say forgiveness, I'm not saying, yeah, go back into that toxic relationship or whatever. But what I am saying is, if you can forgive them, forgiving them is not condoning them. Forgiving them is not, doesn't free them, it frees you. If you can forgive them and use your experience for your betterment, use that experience, and that's where free will and choice comes in. Whatever that experience was, if you can move toward the innocence and purity of who you truly are, then that experience, then you are changing venom into medicine. And our past experiences, and believe me, I've had my share. As an example, I used to, yeah, this is a really long one. Sorry, guys. I hope you can hang in there with me. If not, you can rewatch this. I will post it on my Facebook page, and I will post it on my YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel, if you didn't know that, so feel free to pop over there, and you can watch all of my other episodes of Monday Mini Medicine readings. But anyway, I went through a period like 10 years or so of extreme anxiety and panic attacks. And at one point, I ended up back at my parents' house in Minnesota in the middle of the wintertime, like at Christmas time and into January. So I'm in Minnesota in the coldest period of the year, but I still made sure I got up and did like this 2-mile walk that I did to a park and back, and to make sure I got out of the house and was moving. And this was while I was letting the medications kick back. I tried to go off my meds and I crashed, and so I went to their house to recuperate and rest and to let the medications kick back in. And so as I was on one of these walks one day, there was this little bridge over a little frozen stream, and I always stopped on the bridge and talked to my guides. And I'm like, why is this happening? You know, what what is going on? I know that this is not based in truth. I know I'm a divine being. So why am I experiencing all this fear and anxiety and depression? And my guide stepped in and told me, he was like, you are not doing this just for yourself. And this harkens back to Hawk a little bit. It's like you are experiencing not only your own energy, you are experiencing the energy of all the people in the future that you will help through similar circumstances. And so that period of time, as difficult as it was to get through, and there were many, many times during that I seriously doubted my survival. I really didn't think I would survive it. But at that point, I realized that everything I was experiencing, as difficult and heart-wrenching and dismembering as it was, it would be the solid ground that I would then stand on, that I stand on today. That experience is under my belt, and now I stand strongly upon that experience in order to help lift others. And in a way, knowing, like, I would have thought that hearing that would have made things heavier on me. Like, oh my God, why do I have to carry everyone else's energy? You know, that's not fair. But it actually lightened the load for me, because I realized, okay, my own stuff I can handle. And if this is stuff from other people, that's not mine to solve. But it was I saw this kind of flip where that energy was actually people in my future reaching back through time and drawing me forward through the experience. It was like proof that I was going to get through what I was going through, because there were people in the future that I was going to help. And so their needs in the future were drawing me forward through this experience. I had to come through this experience intact, because there were people that I would help in the future. Like, I don't know if that's kind of a quantum time loop kind of thing, but I hope that makes sense. So it was like the people in the future that I would help that actually helped pull me through those experiences intact. The other thing about snake, if this is your card, snake medicine is also about shedding the old skin, which goes back to all the other things I was talking about facing your fears, about leveling up. I was just talking to someone the other night, I think it was one of my students, about, so snake is growing and growing and growing, right? And the skin doesn't grow. So snake is literally outgrowing his old skin. And so as he's growing, things are getting tighter and tighter and tighter, and it feels like the world is pressing in on him, when the fact is he's pressing out on the world. The pressure you're feeling is not oppression from the outside. It is an expansion from the inside, but you're pushing up against those walls of reality, the parameters that you have set in your comfort zone, on your life, your reality. But those same parameters can no longer contain who you are becoming. And so you are literally bursting out of your skin, bursting out of your reality. You have outgrown your reality. And so a lot of times all we can see is that reality shredding, right? And so we're like trying to grab these parts of our old life, glue them back into place, like, oh my God, who am I if I don't have these things? But if things are falling apart, if things are leaving your life, trust that they are leaving because they no longer serve you, and there is something bigger and better coming. It's that bigger, better self of you that is pushing those other things that you no longer need out of your life. So if they are leaving, let that be your proof that there is something bigger pushing them out. Um, and it's a hard thing. It really, really is, because when Snake is shedding its skin, its eyes are actually part of the skin that it sheds. So while it is shedding, that skin is coming loose, and they're all itchy. You know, think about dry skin. It's like all itchy. You can't get comfortable. Everything itches and hurts. And besides that, they're blind because their eyes have a skin over them that also sheds. And so they can't see where they're going. So if this is happening, if you're finding yourself in a place where everything is falling apart, there seems to be no solid ground to stand on, breathe again into that darkness. Call on Heron to help you be in that stillness, to look into the shadow and see the goodness there. Trust that this darkness is not the end, it's a beginning. It's not a death. Well, it is. It's a death and a rebirth. The things that you knew are dying, but it's only because they are fueling this birth that you are becoming greater. You are leveling up. And so this is a time of great self-nurturing, whatever that means to you, taking care of yourself, doing the things you love, watching the shows that make you happy, that are comfortable. Make yourself some hot chocolate or whatever and cuddle up in your blanket and just chill out. You know, doing whatever makes you feel better, makes you feel whole. Because at some point, that skin will fly away and you will have new eyes and you will see clearly things that you have never seen before. Things are only getting better. Like, one of my favorite affirmations is, only good can come of this. So whatever it is, repeating that, only good can come of this. Knowing that everything always works out for you, that all is well in your world, no matter what it looks like. That is the opening the door for the good to come in, to receive that goodness, okay? So that is our reading for tonight. Holy crap. It was almost an hour and a half long. So if you enjoyed this, please feel free to share the video. Tell your friends if there's someone you think might get something out of it. And if you also enjoyed it, you know, consider coming to me for a personal reading. When I do a personal reading, you get at least 5 cards, sometimes more, but they're all geared toward you. Like I said, I connect with the animal spirits to find out what is the message that needs to be said. And so it's custom made to you, what you need to hear, a little more focused. And I am here to support you. These are crazy, crazy, crazy times. And it's my job to help support you, to help empower you, to help you find your way through these times, through the darkness like Snake. If I can be part of that support system, I am all there. So, and that's my deepest honor and joy to help you. I think because of the length of time, I'm not going to go over and normally I go briefly through them, but I have a real difficult time being brief. So I've probably taken up enough of your time already. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you. If you're watching this live or within the same day, a little shameless self-promotion. I am teaching Tuesday night, December 8th, an introduction to shamanic journey class. So if these things that I talked to you about resonate, if you feel like you want to go deeper on a shamanic path, find out what shamanism is about, and actually meet your own personal power animal to be your guide, then please register. You can register on my Facebook page or on my website, perchingwolfstudios.net. And join us tomorrow night and start yourself on that path. And then I've got another one coming up in January, the same class. And then the third week of January, I'm starting a year-long course on shamanism. This is going to be the 4th year that I do this. And every year it just keeps getting better and better. Like the students I have, from one year to the next year, like they're like light years ahead. So if you are one of those people, if you want to explore shamanism, it's a monthly course for 3 hours once a month to share, give you new ways of looking at things shamanically, new questions to ask. One of the people that I met Sandra Ingerman has been my main teacher, and one of the people I met through her classes, she had said that once you know how to journey, all the other shamanic classes are about what questions to ask. And so once you take the intro class and know how to journey, if you feel like you want to go deeper, check it out. Join us for a year-long experience of shamanism, learning what questions to ask and how to see your path in a shamanic way. I would love to be there, to have you with us on that year-long journey. It's called Deepening the Journey, and you can find the information for that on my website as well, or it's in my event pages on my Facebook page. So check that out. Check out my website, again, perchingwolfstudios.net, to see what other shamanic services I offer, what ways I can help. And even if there's something there that a lot of times people are like, well, I don't know what I need. If you just set up a hour appointment with me, I have been helping a lot of people just like 1 or 2 appointments, hour appointments, and just kind of getting their bearings, helping them to see from a shamanic point of view, see the higher, the eagle's eye view of what actually is happening. So feel free to just, if you need someone to listen to you, to give you an opinion, to journey, I can journey to my guides and your guides to get information or whatever. Feel free to approach me with that. And I think that is it, my friends. So thank you so much. If you're still here and you start at the beginning, I'm so grateful for your perseverance. And if you came in late and you missed the beginning, feel free. I'm going to put this on my Facebook page right away, and I'm going to upload it to my YouTube videos. And again, feel free to share. And thank you so much for watching. I so appreciate you and your support in watching these and sharing these and inviting your friends to watch. I do these every Monday night at 7:30, and then Wednesday nights I do a sacred pipe ceremony on Facebook Live starting at 7, just to give people a safe and sacred space to breathe and to pray and to send our intentions to Great Spirit. So those are the 2 times I'm on Facebook Live each week. So join me for one or all of those. I would love to see you there. I always enjoy your energy, and I thank you for your support. And until I see you again, know that I love you, and that I see you, and that I honor you. So until next time, my friends, I hope this was helpful. I hope I was able to help. Just go shining. All right. Bye-bye.